I'm delighted that you're joining us for our Sustainability Speaker Series. Please join me in welcoming our speaker this afternoon, Sara Kane. Sara manages the Sustainability Program for the Sarasota County UF IFAS Extension and Sustainability. So this is kind of a compliment to our speaker last week.
Randy, yes.
Yeah, he spoke about it. And I don't know if you've been hearing our conversation. Sara is one of our own. She's an alumnus of PCGS. She received her degree in global sustainability with a concentration in water. And before that, Sara got her undergraduate degree from Texas A&M University in environmental policy, ocean and coastal resources, and scientific diving research. Wow, that's interesting. Anyway, I'm sure that Sara will tell us more about her own background. So this afternoon, she will be speaking about how local governments can transition to sustainability. Sara, the stage is yours. You can speak for about 35 or 40 minutes, and then we'll have Q&A. If anyone wants to ask a question, please raise your hand. Then either you can point that out or I can do that to the person. Okay, Sara, go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to speak to you all. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
Okay.
Everyone see that okay? Great. Well, thank you so much again for having me. I'm going to talk to you today about local government sustainability and how we're transitioning to new ways forward in the work that we're doing in local government sustainability. So I'm going to start off today by giving an introduction of myself and kind of talking about my background. I think that's really helpful for all students to kind of know what path I went down that led me here to where I am today. Then I'm going to go into local government sustainability, what it is, and what we're doing with Sarasota County sustainability. We've been around for quite a while, and we have many exciting new projects going on. One of them is energy equity. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, show some research and data on that and what we're doing to involve low-income community members in our programming. And then I'll wrap up with some sustainability careers and advice, and then I'll take questions and answers. So just to introduce myself, I actually grew up in Nebraska, and I was landlocked there, but I fell in love with the ocean the first time I saw it when I was about 10 years old when I went to California to visit my aunt. So after high school, I decided that I wanted to study something with the ocean. And I started taking some marine biology classes, environmental science, environmental policy, and scientific diving. And that's when I really fell in love with scientific diving and being underwater doing research. After I graduated from Texas A&M with my undergraduate degree at the Galveston campus, I worked at Sea Camp for a summer where I was a marine science teacher there and a diving instructor. And then I worked at an aquarium for a little while I got to actually hand feed some sharks. That was really fun. So as you know, I'm an alum at USF, Patel College of Global Sustainability. So happy to be here today. I was the class of 2015. And when I started, I started it was quite a bit of a long time after my undergraduate degree. When I graduated from that, I wasn't sure quite what I wanted to do for my master's, but I was already working in the environmental field, and I decided that I found this program and that I wanted to learn more about sustainability, and I was really interested in the global aspect of it. So that's what really sparked my interest initially. And I ended up doing my internship at the International River Foundation in Australia, in Brisbane, Australia. So I just had a wonderful experience there. I studied urban watershed management, and I would encourage everyone, if you're thinking about doing some kind of global internship, it was a great experience. So my jobs, since I've been in Florida since 2005, so the last 16 years or so, my first job when I first moved to Sarasota was at Mote Marine Laboratory. And I was a assistant dive safety officer, and I did scientific diving research, and I was also a dive instructor. I got to do some research on coral reefs and artificial reefs, fish counts. I got to do some deep dives and some deep blue holes. It was a really great experience. Absolutely fell in love with that work. And then a couple years later, I got a position as the the public outreach manager at the Sarasota Bay Estuary Program. And when I was there for 6 years. That's when I started to get my master's at USF towards the end of my career there at the Estuary Program. And I was really focused on water mainly, but you know, working with the program at USF really got me interested in all aspects of sustainability. And then I've been with Sarasota County Sustainability since 2000, for the last 5 years. I've been there for 5.5 years. And I started out as the Sustainability Outreach Coordinator. And then a couple years ago, I was promoted to my current position managing the sustainability program. And if you were in Randy's presentation last week, you probably heard this, but sustainability is actually part of the UF IFAS Extension Office. So this Office of Sustainability is under the Extension Department, and we're a partnership between Sarasota County, the University of Florida, and the USDA. And we really use university research and resources to meet our community needs, and those have changed a lot over time. We're very focused on the environment now, and we have volunteer programs and outreach programs in these 6 core areas: agriculture, sustainability, community gardens, horticulture, natural resources, family nutrition program, and 4-H. And so what are counties and cities doing? When I was at USF, I didn't know a lot about local government sustainability besides what I learned from working at the estuary program. So luckily, I knew a little bit about it because I did work with my county partners at the time. But it is a huge growing field that I'm very passionate about. It's very fulfilling work. So I'm happy to share my stories with you all. Most sustainability offices in local government and cities and counties, a lot of them started with a Department of Energy Efficiency and Conservation block grants, which is a huge sum of money that went out to local governments to do energy efficiency work. And so that's how a lot of the sustainability offices first formed. And then a lot of offices were focused on recycling as well. But that has really transitioned in the last few years. Not only has sustainability offices and personnel expanded greatly, but many are not only focused on energy efficiency anymore, also focused on clean energy goals, expanding into climate change, resiliency, and equity. In the past, we've been really focused on mitigation, which we still are, but we are expanding into adaptation and resiliency and social equity. We at Sarasota County have been able to do innovative projects and expand our staff and expand what we do because of grant funding. So you know the definition of sustainability. I'm not going to go over that, but I will say that we started in 2002, which is very early for a sustainability office. That showed that our leaders in Sarasota County were very progressive at the time. And since then, we've been able to accomplish quite a bit. There's always more to do, of course. In 2006, we had developed a roadmap to sustainability, which is our sustainability action plan. In 2008, we were certified as a gold green local government by the FGBC. In 2015, we were the highest county in Florida at the time. And just last year, we got a Soul Smart Silver Award. A lot of our policies that were put into place were in the 2005 to 2010 range. In 2005, we did a green building resolution that encourages green building in the community through fast track permitting, and also our county green buildings. All of our new buildings are green buildings. They're all LEED certified buildings. We also did a 2030 challenge resolution that has set a goal for the county for our new construction, our new buildings, to be designed for energy reduction and to be carbon neutral, requiring no fossil fuel energy by 2030. And in 2008, we did an energy management action plan where we're looking at our existing buildings and setting goals to reduce energy and water use in the existing buildings. And then we have a comprehensive plan that has specific energy goals and also goals for sea level rise. So I'm just going to go over some of our programs that we work on to give you a sense what local governments do. We do resiliency planning, specifically on sea level rise. Besides climate mitigation, we are working on some climate adaptation as well. We have sea level rise in our comprehensive plan. We have a post-disaster redevelopment plan that talks about sea level rise. We just completed at the end of last year an internal vulnerability assessment of our county buildings that shows sea level rise for our assets, for our county buildings. That was a very long process, and it's great, and we're moving forward with our recommendations that came out of that report to do more analysis and more studies and more community outreach on sea level rise. And last year, we also joined the Tampa Bay Regional Resiliency Coalition, which Tampa and all the counties and cities in the Tampa Bay region are a part of. And we're also a part of the Climate Council of Sarasota Manatee. Internally, we have energy conservation teams that we meet with, and with staff in all the different departments throughout the county. And we talk about how we're going to reduce our energy and fuel use. We also have a county employee education program where we train all new employees that come into the county, and we have over 2,000 county staff. We train them on sustainability, some of our goals, and we also have classes online, and they can get a Green Champion certification. And we have sustainability awards as well. We also try to encourage sustainable transportation through our fleet. We have electric vehicles in our fleet, and we have a community electric vehicle program. We're really focused, our main focus is energy and water efficiency. Right now, specifically in the community, we're doing energy equity projects. So we're working with low-income community members to educate them and give them devices to make their homes more energy and water efficient. And we have an annual Sustainable Communities Workshop that we do every single year. This last year was the first year it was virtual, and this year it's going to be November 10th. So you can definitely participate in that. We would encourage that. We have speakers from all over. And we also do online classes and the sustainability classes that we might eventually do in person when we can, but we have a green living class, solar technologies, green building, age-friendly design or universal design, electric vehicles, a financing program called Property Assessed Clean Energy, and Drawdown, which is our climate change class. These are all free and available to anyone that wants to take them. You can find them on our Eventbrite page or on our website. We also try to encourage sustainable economic development in our county. So we work with our county's Economic Development Corporation group. And we have a green business partnership that Randy actually runs. And we have free kits that you can check out at the library. We have a do-it-yourself energy and water audit kit and a family green living kit. And we try to encourage plastic reduction and composting, and we are working on a sustainable events guide. So green building, some of the actions that we've taken is our county facilities construction. So all of our new buildings are LEED certified. We have classes, and we try to encourage realtors to use the green features options on the MLS. We have a website that has fact sheets about all of our county green buildings, and we're USGBC and FGBC members. Here's some pictures of some of our green buildings that are all LEED certified. We have a lot of fire stations, some libraries. Our building at Twin Lakes Park, where we have our extension office, is LEED certified, and we also have solar on our building. That is a picture of it in the upper picture right there. We also have solar hot water and solar PV at 3 of our facilities. We do a lot of classes on solar and how to finance solar. You can check this out, our electric vehicle website. We have classes and events for that. We also have a rebate program for community charging stations to be installed. So we not only have the county-owned charging stations that are free for anyone to use, but we also encourage businesses and nonprofits to install stations, and they can get a rebate for that. And at our office, we have an all-electric Chevy Bolt, which is super fun to drive, and we have other county plug-in fleet vehicles as well. I'm going to focus a little bit on the energy upgrade program. We started this program in 2012 with a Department of Energy grant, and it is encouraging residents to save energy, water, and money at home. So it's a class and also a bag of goodies that you can install in your home with energy and water devices. We started off giving this class at different neighborhood groups, clubs, libraries, anyone. And then in 2016, we did some research, and we realized that low-income community members or community members that are financially hardshipped really need these materials the most. They're spending way more of their salary on energy and their utility bills. So we started working with different nonprofit groups like the Salvation Army, United Way, Children's First, Habitat for Humanity, and we started an Energy Coach volunteer program in 2018. We're actually just going through another round of that right now. We just started yesterday, an online version of our training, and we've gotten several grants in the last couple years. One big one from the Branzik Foundation, and that has allowed us to expand our staff to hire somebody for 2 years to run this program. And then we also just received a grant from the FDEX for energy efficient appliances that we're going to be able to put in low income housing. So I just want to emphasize the social aspect of sustainability. We all know what sustainability means, and most local governments historically have focused on the environmental side of the 3 pillars. Just trying to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by mitigation or, working on economic efforts. But where I see local government going and what we're concentrating on and focusing on, and what other local governments across the entire United States are really focusing on right now is equity. So the social aspect of sustainability. And I think that's very important. Our energy equity program really does reach all 3 pillars of sustainability because it helps those that in the community that need it the most. It helps save them money, and it also helps reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which is great for the environment. So you might have seen this graphic before, and you might have heard of these terms before, but it's really good to know the difference between equality and equity. So equality equals sameness. It's about fairness and justice by giving everyone the exact same thing. So you can see in this picture that everyone has the exact same height of the box that they're standing on, but they're not all the same height, so they can't see the game. But equity is about fairness, and it's making sure that people have access to the same opportunities. And sometimes that is removing the barriers for them or giving them what they need to be at the same place. So as you can see now, the child on the right-hand side has the right number of boxes to see the game. And then when we're talking about barriers, if you actually think of the fence as a barrier, if you take down that fence, that is even more equitable or liberation. And we have a big problem with affordable housing in Sarasota County, and I'm sure you all do in Tampa as well. But we have around 76,000 households in our county that are cost burdened, that basically spend more than 30% of their income on housing costs. And a lot of that has to do with their housing being older housing. It's not as energy efficient, and they can't afford to upgrade their appliances or their devices in their home to save money on energy. Almost half or over half of them are renters, and half of them are households under the age of 45. This is a very impactful graphic that we use all the time to share why we're doing energy equity work, because in Sarasota County, our residents, our low-income residents, are spending 13 to 19% of their salary on energy bills, and median plus higher income folks are spending 2 to 3% of their salary on energy bills. So that's quite a huge inequity there, and that's why we're really trying to reach these communities. And COVID has made it even worse. Actually, there's new data out that shows up to 15% increase in utility bills due to people spending more time at home, homeschooling, working up from home, those types of things. We actually talked to our utilities department, and there are thousands of residents that are facing shutoff of their water bill due to non-payment. So we know that people need help. Also, there's a 211 that's run by the United Way, and they get calls all the time for people that want assistance, financial assistance with their utility bills. So over $5,000 for electric bills and $1,300 for water bills. We created a fact sheet that you can see on this slide, and this is the front of the fact sheet. It has energy and water saving tips. And then on the back of the fact sheet, it has financial information of those organizations that are supporting people to pay their bills or supporting them in other ways. Like I said, we are in our second round of our Energy Coach Volunteer Training, and it's a training series that I would highly recommend if you want to get something else on your resume. We do energy and water conservation education, health impacts, basics of building systems, and then at the end of the training, our volunteers get to work in our low-income communities. We started off before COVID, actually doing in-home energy evaluations and sweeps, where we were installing devices, and we completed 100 units that were duplexes with the Sarasota Housing Authority, which is our public housing provider. And then we completed another 53 in apartments. And now we're working with Hope for Communities, St. Martha's, Mothers Helping Mothers, and Boys and Girls Club, which is they are all nonprofits where we're going out in the community and meeting people, giving them kits and giving them energy and water educational materials. So part of this program is also to mitigate climate change and reduce carbon emissions. One of the things that I mentioned that, why we were able to expand into the equity space and all these other grant programs is because we've gotten funding from foundations or from federal funds. So we've had more than $5 million in grant funding that primarily focuses on energy efficiency and sustainable economic development. And then the last 4 years, it's been primarily focused on energy equity and low-income community members. And we've also gotten 1.5 million in incentives through the Sustainable Energy Economic District program. I wanted to touch just really quickly also on our Partners for Green Places program. This is a grant that started with money from the Funders Network and the Urban Sustainability Directors Network. And we received national funding from that. And it's a grant that was matched by our local community foundations. And it's a grant that tries to get local sustainability staff involved with local foundations to do projects and then establish a relationship with those foundations to carry on sustainability work in cities. So it's been a really great project. We've partnered with the city of Sarasota, and we have expanded from an original grant of $350,000 up to over $700,000 now, because we've had additional foundations come in. And we work with local nonprofits that have environmental or human services missions, and we have given them energy, water, and solar audits of their facilities, some energy roadmaps that give them a plan for future investments to save energy and water in their buildings. And we've also given them money to do those improvements. And they're taking the money that they're saving on their utility bills and putting that back into their programs, which reach underserved community members or environmental impacts in the community. So we've worked with 15 local nonprofits. And local government sustainability jobs, like I said in the beginning, are really, really expanding quickly. And I forgot to mention in my earlier slide that we all network with each other. So we have a Urban Sustainability Directors Network, which is a national network. We have a Southeast Sustainability Directors Network and a Florida Sustainability Directors Network. So we all get together, all sustainability local government staff meet and have conference calls, and we all share ideas. We have a web platform where we can pose any question. Have you done this? Have you worked on this project? And we can share ideas and take lessons learned from other communities. That's so valuable. It's also a really great resource for us to network and see where other jobs are. But there are local government sustainability jobs all over the nation. It has grown tremendously here in Florida. You can get a job as a sustainability director, manager, or coordinator, an energy manager. And there are new opportunities for equity officers and climate or resiliency officers as well now. Those are popping up all over. So just going to leave you with a little bit of career advice. Always network and meet people, as many people as you can. Reach out to them later for job opportunities. We often have temporary jobs or internships that are available, so always check those out. Get involved, try to volunteer. You might even have to start out in a different department within a city or a county, but that might lead you into a sustainability job if there's none open at the time. Your expertise, what you're good at, and your passion can change over the years, and that's okay. Just find out what you're good at and try to pursue that. And I always say get experience with public speaking and education and outreach, because it's good for any job that you might have. It's always great to be a good communicator and a people person. Try to be detail oriented, gain office experience and develop your skills. So that's very important when I'm hiring people, that they have some kind of skills and background, that they can multitask and do office skills. I got a LEED Green Associates certificate as well before I got this job, and I think that helped me. So I would recommend that because I didn't have as much background on the energy side. That really helped fill kind of that gap. And always be responsive and hardworking. And I do have to say that local government sustainability work is very fulfilling. I'm taking something that that I'm interested in, that is my strength, and what the world needs. This is going to continue to grow. We're not going to just run away from climate change. All of these things are going to continue to need people like yourselves to work on. So whenever you can find that purpose, that's really great. And I would just encourage you to always, follow social media pages for local governments, because we're always posting jobs on there. And I have a lot of resources here that we can send out, but you can get more information on our websites. And at this point, I think I'm hopefully on time and I can take some questions. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen here.
Great. Thank you, Sara. That was a very good presentation and wonderful advice to our students as to how to prepare their career. And that did you get your lead training throughout, or did you take, Sara?
Did I get my lead certification through Patel? I actually did that on my own.
Oh, you did do your own. See,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Now we are organizing ourselves, for our students, and giving a partial scholarship for those students who would get this, are willing to sign up for the lead certification training. I think that's been quite successful. So
that is great, because there's not a lot of certifications you can get. And so I would encourage anyone to do that, because it's a great certification to put on your resume for sure.
Right. So the floor is open, virtually, for asking questions to Sara. So do raise your hand and ask questions. I haven't seen the chats if anyone has any question. Let me see. Now, you were talking about various programs, and I'm sure that you would, of course, make an assessment or what program evaluation for some of these. Have you conducted any such evaluations and found whether you have been successful or where you have fallen short, where you've been, what kind of changes you make to these efforts? So can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So because we're under University of Florida as well, so both kind of county and university side of things, we do try to do evaluations as much as we can, especially when we're doing grant reporting. We need to have those numbers and statistics to make sure that we're doing what we said we're going to do, and also the impact of our program. So one of the big things for energy is always the impact of what the energy use was before and after we do the upgrades. So one of the challenges that we have is just getting that data from our local utility. We have meetings with them and try to gather that. And now we're kind of working with some consultants that can try to help us with that as well. But that is always a challenge. But we think that that's probably the most impactful measurement that we can have. Sometimes it's hard to measure education and outreach efforts, even though we, count the number of people that we reach and the number of devices that we give out. And we do surveys for everyone that we reach, that we send out to see if they, if we just give them a kit, did they install the items? Have they used the items? Did they learn something? Were they able to change their behavior? All of those questions are something that we record.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. And also, obviously, sustainability is achieved ground up from local organizations, local governments. It is not something that is mandated from top down. Obviously, the national governments or state governments or international organizations can give some guidance and certain indicators of how to achieve certain things and tools, but it has to be achieved through cities and local governments. And there is an organization called ICLEI. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Yeah. Do you have any connection with them?
Yeah, in the past we did more than we do currently, but they have a really good tool for analyzing greenhouse gas emissions for greenhouse gas inventories.
Yep.
So we did that through their ClearPath software not too long ago, and we actually are going to be looking into hiring an intern to and maybe a consultant down the road, but hiring an intern to help us update our previous inventory and get some new inventory. So that, like what I mentioned, check our website and our social media for temporary jobs or internships. Those are always kind of good opportunities that not a lot of students have experience doing. So if you do have experience doing that, I know a lot of cities and counties are looking for that type of work as well.
Right. Any, don't be shy. We don't have a lot of students today. I don't know why, what happened, but do ask questions. Just the other day, I was, well, you think about possible questions you can ask to yes, why I mentioned so local there. I don't know if any of you read anything at all about an event or action that recently happened with the former New York City Mayor Bloomberg, who has been very active in the international arena for promoting sustainability through local governments. And he has given a huge amount of money to Harvard University to train city or local governments in how to do the projects that you're talking about. So you are far ahead of many counties and cities. So that is really wonderful news. And it's always I'm sure Harvard University has good capacity, but it is so sad that such money is not given to colleges like ours, where we would be a wonderful place, but obviously we don't have that kind of visibility. So that promote us, and at this the university level, there should be effort on the part of the president and others. So I urge our students to get involved in the GLOBE activity, and also how our college can be a magnet for such things, such activities. So I'm sure the students should take initiative, because I can always talk to the leadership, but they all deans are interested in promoting the college. But if the stakeholders, like Sara as an alumnus of our college, and then and you, our students, should actually promote our college, so that such great grants could come to us. We never knew. I mean,
Yeah,
I
see that opportunity to partner. There's lots of opportunities to partner and have students help us with getting certifications like LEED for Communities, as an example, that we're looking into right now, or the greenhouse gas inventories. There's so many opportunities that we, could use students to help us just build capacity for the things that we're trying to do. So. And I do see a couple questions, I think.
Oh, you do? I was looking for them. If you can read them, yeah, please do answer. Yeah.
Okay, so Megan asked, what is the best advice you can give a fellow scientific diver or dive master who has been out of the industry for a few years to get back into the industry? Yes, so if you're talking about the dive industry, it's a tough one to get back into, or find jobs, actually. I got pretty lucky finding a job at Mo Marine Laboratory, but it was just kind of like a entry level type of thing. So I think, just staying active, maybe getting involved with like a local dive shop or something like that would be good. I've been kind of out of that field for a while now too. So, but if you had if I didn't answer that correctly, or if you wanted to know more about sustainability career, let me know. Or you can always email me too, and we can talk more about scientific diving.
Oh, of course. And Kelly is on leave today, so so she couldn't tell more about efforts that we have in our college. But our students can always contact you directly or through Kelly and get advice and suggestions for their internship or future jobs. There are lots of jobs available for sustainability professionals, our students. It's getting really better compared to a few years ago. because almost all city governments, local governments, organizations have a sustainability program, and they need professionals and well-trained professionals like our students. So the opportunity is opening up out there.
Yes.
Any other questions?
What is the website called? I think maybe you might have been referring, and feel free to turn off your or turn on your microphone. But I think maybe when we were talking the ICLEI website, is that what you were referring to, Michael?
Yeah, no, I was just referring to, because I don't have social media, I don't really use it much. So whenever you post internships or whatever, is it just the Sarasota County website? Is that what you were referring to?
Yes. So if it's a county internship, it's going to be under scgov.net. And you can go, there's a little tab that says jobs or careers, and you can click on that and see all the internships available. We have interns every single summer. If it's a temporary job, though, sometimes they're not posted on scgov.net. So you could that we have a blog post that is also on the website, and sometimes we post those on there. Okay. But we always post them on social media too. So
yeah, I'll check the Facebook every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I had another question actually. Really the question I have is, how many people are on these teams working on these projects? Because at the beginning of your presentation, you talked about, all these different kind of comprehensive projects that were going on. So I was wondering if you were like more of the project manager of every project, or do you overview specific ones? And is there a list of high priorities of the projects, and how many people work on the teams? I know that's a lot of questions.
Yeah, it's a great question. As far as my team is, I am the project manager for everything that I listed in my presentation, except the internal energy. We do have an energy manager as well. And so he focuses a lot on the internal energy, but we partner together in our team meetings when we talk about it. But he does the specific project management for internal energy. But everything else I listed that I'm the manager of, and then we have 2 staff people that I work with on my team. We have a sustainability outreach coordinator and an energy specialist. So the energy specialist is actually a grant-funded position for 2 years that is managing our energy upgrade program that I mentioned, and then our sustainability outreach coordinator is a permanent full-time position. So we kind of have a small team compared to some other big cities. Like if you look at like the major cities throughout the nation, some have a lot more on their team, but the smaller cities only have 1 person. As an example, like the city of Sarasota only has 1, the city of Tampa only has 1. St. Pete has a couple more now. They've been growing. So they have a sustainability director, a coordinator, and I think now a manager. So they might have 3 people, but typically it's 1 to 3 people.
Okay, yeah, that's crazy how small it is in cities. I mean, I know it'll grow, but it is, kind of sad.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could always use more help. But that's why, honestly, like I mentioned how many grants that we have received, and I started putting in all the grant applications that we applied for as either temporary work or positions that are semi-long-term to help us with all these grants, because we would love to do more and more projects, but we just need staff to implement those, to help implement those. So that's actually where we got a 3rd person, is through a grant.
And when I was at the beginning of the program, someone mentioned something about learning how to do grant writing. Is that something that that we should look into? I mean, just to understand the process?
Oh yes, definitely. It's a great skill to have, a great training to do for any job in this field, because any environmental work that you do, you can always apply for grants, and it's really good to know not only how to write grants, but how to manage them and do reporting and that type of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
A good skill to have. There's a question from Veronica there. It says, besides LEAD, are there any other certifications that you can recommend?
The Institute of Sustainability Professionals, I believe it is. I think they have a certification. I don't have any other specific ones. There's not a whole lot out there. I definitely recommend the LEAD, trying that. And then I would say over some of the other certifications, I would just definitely recommend some additional training and some experience. An internship is more valuable than some of the other ones.
Basic layers training, for example, might be useful, but it's a highly technical field. Geographic information systems, there are software available. So, and through our university at the Geosciences School, they have several courses and programs. So there may be something that you can look into. Mm-hmm. And there is something called Envision.
Oh yes.
That, yeah. We haven't been able to find someone to offer the course, and then the amount of money they were asking was not acceptable. So we decided not to pursue that avenue. And we did that 2 years ago, Envision training, and didn't find that to be very useful because the person was not able to actually do a good job. So we decided not to continue with that. But there may be other things available out there.
Yeah, I just thought of the Clear Path. If you can learn how to do greenhouse gas inventories, and like what we mentioned before with ICLEAD, it's called Clear Path. Is this data or software that they use? If there's any type of training you can do on that, that's really helpful for cities, or any kind of other like Lead for Communities work. That's also good. We don't use Envision. I did use it when I was at USF. I took a course and learned about it, but I don't know of too many local governments that actually use it. So.
Right, and then of course there are software systems available for simulating conditions, or even for Dr. Culhane's course, for example, Envisioning Sustainability might be a great opportunity to use different kinds of virtual reality techniques, things like that, to design different environments where you can vary certain kinds of parameters and see how that would affect sea level rise or any other kind of issues.
Oh, yes, for sure. So GIS is in for that. And also, if you decide you want to work for like a consulting company, they do a lot more of that. So a lot more of that analysis, GIS, sea level rise, any kind of that technical.
We're always exploring some new certifications, as long as we can provide that to our students within a short time frame, because students don't have enough time to spend like a semester. It should be very brief, and they can take an exam and get a certification so that it is clear that they have the
yeah.
I don't know if any more questions, but I'm sure that if you have any, you can always reach out to Sara. So I want to thank Sara for spending the afternoon with us. Thank you so much, and it's good to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was good to be back.
Okay, all
Talking
right.
to you all.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thanks.
Have a good evening. Bye.
You too. Bye.